Hello, everyone. Sorry about the last minute hitch that we had, a technical issue, but thank you very much for joining us. My name is Sadia Ahmed, and I am a business psychologist for ToHealth. ToHealth provides, it's an occupational health provider, and we provide wellbeing solutions. And one of the ones include the training awareness session that you're attending today. So today we will be looking at the assistive technologies available out there that can help those with difficulties that come with having neurodivergent conditions. Okay, so what is neurodiversity? Well, when we talk about neurodiversity, it's an umbrella term that includes the conditions that we have here. And it's all about trying to embrace difference and move away from the medical model of abnormality. Having a neurodiverse condition is not about having to cure it, but more about how we can manage the condition and work with its strengths, trying to manage the challenges that come with some of these conditions. So when we talk about neurodiverse conditions, we have these conditions here. So we have autism, also known as ASD, autism spectrum disorder, or ASC, so autism spectrum condition. This is a disorder that's characterized by difficulties with social interaction, communication, and repetitive behaviors. We have ADHD, which stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. This is characterized by inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. We have dyslexia. So this is characterized by difficulties in reading due to problems with decoding and comprehension of information. We have dyspraxia. So this is a motor coordination disorder. So it's difficult for people to coordinate their larger muscle groups and smaller muscle groups. We have dyscalculia. So this is characterized by difficulties with math skills, such as understanding numbers, performing calculations, and solving mathematical problems. Now, there are other conditions that come under neurodiversity, but those aren't the ones that we will be looking at. So you might have heard of Tourette syndrome and even OCD. So this is obsessive compulsive disorder, but it depends on where you're reading. So it's not always covered under neurodiversity. So if we take a look at some of the conditions in a little bit more detail and some statistics as well. So when it comes to autism, we know that 1 in 100 people are on the autistic spectrum, according to MenCap. And people with autism may come across as having an overly formal style of communication. They may not understand subtleties in communication. They may interpret language literally. So some colleagues that you may have or people that you know with autism, they may take things quite literally, and they may also be quite sensitive to things like heat or light or certain textures. Moving on to dyslexia now. So we know that 10% of the population are dyslexic. There is a 15% co-occurrence. So what does that mean? That it can occur with any of the other neurodiverse conditions. We know that up to 10 million people in the UK are affected, and this is according to the British Dyslexia Association. When it comes to ADHD, so we know that approximately 2% of adults are affected by this. And we know that males tend to be diagnosed more than females, almost as high as, so for every 4 males that have been diagnosed, 1 female will be diagnosed with ADHD. Dyscalculia. So it is estimated that 20% of the population do have dyscalculia. And this is a real difficulty with number sense compared to, so it's not just a case of, oh, I'm not very good at maths. It's a persistent difficulty trying to grasp numbers, you have a problem learning number facts and procedures. It can affect ability when it comes to your timekeeping or even telling the time. So it's quite persistent difficulty, all of these are. We have DCD or dyspraxia. So DCD stands for developmental coordination disorder. And this impacts your fine and gross motor coordination. So somebody with dyspraxia might find it very difficult to write clearly. They might have poor balance, so they may come across as clumsy, constantly bumping into things. But it does impact also their planning and organisation skills. They can sometimes be forgetful. Time management can be an issue as well for them. And we know that approximately 2 to 6% of the population is affected by DCD. And it's important to point out that these neurodiverse conditions, they are not related to intelligence. In fact, these are conditions that will be there from a prenatal stage, and people might start picking up sort of a hint that these conditions are there during childhood. They cannot be cured, but they can be successfully managed. Okay, so when we talk about assistive technology, this refers to any product or equipment or software or system that is designed to enhance the functional capabilities of people with disabilities or impairments. It is a broad term that encompasses a wide range of devices, tools, including mobility aids, communication devices, sensory aids, cognitive aids, and more. And it can be used by anyone, so not just those that have a neurodiverse condition, but it can be used by anyone to make tasks easier, more efficient. Even, for example, a wheelchair is an example of an assistive technology because it helps people with mobility impairments to move around, whilst a speech generating device can also help those who have difficulty communicating to express themselves. And we do know that assistive technology can be used to make tasks easier, more efficient, and it can have a significant impact on the quality of life of people with neurodiverse conditions, allowing them to participate more fully in daily activities, education, employment, as well as social interactions. So, what are the challenges that come with having neurodiverse conditions? So, we know that many neurodiverse people may require specific accommodations in the workplace. So that can include things like flexible working hours, as well as assistive technology, adjustments to their work environment. And these accommodations, however, are not always provided. We know that people tend to face discrimination in the workplace based on their neurological condition. We know that due to the lack of accommodations and discrimination, neurodiverse individuals may find it difficult to advance their careers. And because of that, it ends up having an impact on their pay and benefits. And also it can be because people misunderstand and they have these stereotypical ideas of what a neurodiverse individual may be. Okay, so another thing that we can think about is that being aware of accommodations and reasonable adjustments that can be made by employers to support the neurodiverse is the legal considerations such as the disability discrimination laws. And these laws provide protection against discrimination based on a person's disability, including in the workplace. And it's important to remember that every individual is different. What might work for one person may not always work for another. It is important to be open to feedback and make sure to adjust accommodations as required. So it's very important that you have an open and honest conversation with the person concerned and think about what works for them. Okay, so in terms of what assistive technologies there are available out there that can support neurodiverse individuals. So here I'm going to give you some examples depending on each neurodiverse condition. So for dyslexia, we can use text-to-speech software. So this reads out digital text to the user. You can think about speech recognition software. So this will transcribe spoken word into text. Think about audiobooks and ebooks that provide an alternative to traditional print books. When it comes to ADHD, think about focus and time management apps that help with the organization and planning. So for instance, there's a free one that's available, the Pomodoro timer. You'll be able to find that. You can think about noise cancelling headphones or earplugs that reduce distractions. You can think about mindfulness and meditation apps. These promote relaxation and concentration. So in terms of autism, you can think of visual schedules and checklists that provide structure and routine. You can try out augmentative and alternative communication devices, and these facilitate communication. There are sensory aids such as weighted blankets or fidget toys that can help regulate sensory input as well. For dyspraxia, you can think about word prediction software. So this software suggests words as the user types, which can help with spelling and reduce the need to type every letter, for instance. And examples of word prediction software include things like Co-Writer or WordQ. Graphic organizers, so these are visual aids that can help individuals with dyspraxia, as well as the other neurodiverse conditions as well, to organize their thoughts and ideas more effectively. And examples include MindView. Thing that you can try and consider another technology is voice activated technology. So devices such as smart speakers or voice assistants can be helpful for individuals with dyspraxia who struggle with physical tasks such as turning on lights or adjusting thermostats. So these are actually just a few examples of the many assistive technologies available for neurodiverse individuals. It is important to remember again that each person is unique, will vary, and any assistive technology should be selected based on individual preferences and requirements. So in terms of accommodating neurodiversity in the workplace, so these are some of the things that you can do to try and create a welcoming and inclusive environment. And this can be done by fostering a culture of acceptance, understanding, and that it's okay to be different, to try and promote this difference rather than trying to make people feel isolated, for instance. So some of the things that you can do is think about diversity and inclusion training for employees, management and leadership. Provide support and resources. So this can include things like employee resources, groups and counselling services. Think about your policies and procedures. Establish procedures for addressing discrimination and bias and harassment in the workplace. This includes making sure that there is a clear process for reporting incidents of discrimination and that they are taken seriously and dealt with promptly. Provide equal opportunities, so that can include things like career advancement, pay, flexible working arrangements, and assistive technology. Think about the language and the imagery that's used in your workplace. Ensuring that language is more inclusive creates a more welcoming and inclusive environment. Try to use gender neutral bathrooms and dress code as well. So again, some of the accommodations, think about your sensory accommodations. So perhaps you could provide a sensory room where people can go to to enable them to calm down if they're being frustrated. Flexible schedule and training. So these are some of the things that you can do. And maybe people have heard of these assistive technologies already. So these are some things, some of them, especially this Microsoft Read Aloud. So this is a free text-to-speech software that reads aloud from text from various sources. We've got Text Help. So this is another literacy support tool that offers help for everyday tasks. So reading out text out loud, understanding unfamiliar words, and proofreading written work. Clara Read is another one that supports reading and writing. It's simple, easy to use, flexible, screen text out loud and improve your writing in Microsoft Word. And it also reads aloud any scanned paper books and documents. We have LightKey. So this is a smart AI-powered text prediction software. And this enables you to write smarter and better using advanced tools and technologies. It can assist in writing professional reports and blogs and predicting text, reducing errors, and it can generally enhance the overall writing tone and style of your work. Grammarly, so this one's heavily advertised. It is an American cloud-based typing assistant. It reviews spelling, grammar, punctuation, clarity, engagement, and delivery mistakes in text. It can detect plagiarism. It can suggest replacements for the identified errors. And again, you can customize the style, tone, and ensure that your language, your written language, is context specific. We have Global Autocorrect. So this is an advanced spell checking software program. Again, you can produce high quality, flawless documents, and it corrects your spellings as you type, and it also helps to boost productivity. So this one's quite a useful one for dyslexia, some of these ones. Is Dragon. So we have Dragon Naturally Speaking and Dragon Professional. So this one's a leading speech recognition, dictation, and transcription software. You can use it with a standard mic headset or a wireless headset, and users can dictate and transcribe to text. Scripting is also available. But there are some organisations we know that do not allow this piece of software because it does need internet access to be installed on the servers. Of course, when using assistive technology, it does require sometimes training as well, and that way is a good way to ensure that your colleagues have a good understanding of how to use these technologies effectively for their own use. They can be customised as well. So another assistive technology out there is mind mapping software. So these are used to virtually map ideas and concepts, and you can create visual diagrams that fit your needs and offer a wide range of customization options. So mapping concepts by creating connections is exactly how our brains work. So these connections enable us to understand information from simple to complex, and mind mapping supports our brains in building these connections, making it an effective tool for studying, brainstorming, planning, project planning, and more. So I haven't got time to talk through every one of them, but MindView is a powerful Microsoft Office integration and comprehensive project management tool. And it's well recognized for its accessibility features, and it focuses on usability for those that do require the extra support. Another one is the LiveScribe Smart Pen. So these digitally capture everything you write on your notebook and store them in memory. So these can be connected to any sort of device, such as a mobile, tablet, or a desktop, and they can securely transfer the data to the device. It digitizes handwritten notes. It also records audio, and it can synchronize the recorded audio to what you write. So that's a really clever little device there. It's got built-in camera as well in the nib, and it records all the activity. So In terms of championing inclusion and navigating neurodiversity in the workplace, it is important that you create a warm and welcoming environment. Think about the legal considerations. Try to provide your employees with support and resources. Think about the future. So companies that embrace neurodiversity and allow their employees to work efficiently with the reasonable accommodations always tend to do better in terms of productivity. And think about it from an employee's perspective as well. If they're happier at work, they're more likely to turn up to work every day and enjoy their work, and you're likely to retain them for a longer period of time. So we want to be able to arrive at a point where people feel included and comfortable to be themselves in their community and their workplace on an equal playing field. So think about some of these things that you can do to be able to boost the morale of your colleagues at work. So these are some of the practical tips that you can go away and actually put into practice. So if somebody does disclose their condition, try to listen non-judgmentally, create a safe environment for the disclosure. Think about the accommodations that you can offer once this person has disclosed their condition to you. Think about maintaining confidentiality. Keep it confidential and only share it on a need-to-know basis, because it's a personal choice whether people come and disclose their condition to you. It is important to be open-minded and for employees as well to understand that line managers do not have all the answers, and occupational health providers such as ourselves, we can carry out workplace needs assessments that are tailored to the individual. So here are some considerations. So think about inclusion right from the recruitment and onboarding stages. Ensure that you're not isolating people. So for instance, if you have a job advert out there and it's quite lengthy and lots of words are being used for the job, do you really need to put in all that information in there? So somebody with dyslexia, for instance, it might be difficult for them to navigate a huge, long job description. And even post-recruitment onboarding, think about your training materials, think about the way you communicate within your organization, think about following up long documents or long pieces of information in terms of concise bullet points in an email that is easily comprehended by the majority of the staff. Think about having a buddy system in place so colleagues can support neurodiverse colleagues. And these neurodiverse colleagues have somewhere to go to where they feel supported. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to get in touch with us, these are the ways that you can do so. So we have email, websites, you can call us, think about our social pages. And of course, we value your feedback. So please do scan the QR code and leave some feedback for us. Thank you all for joining, and I do apologise for the technical glitch at the start. Thank you.